talk about overstriding and things like that, oftentimes you've said butt bouncing. What creates butt?
Yes, when you agitate a horse and build an imaginative wall in front of his nose, in other words, you block him by putting his face, and you agitate him, he will escape by bouncing upward his butt with straightening out and stiffening his joints. In other words, he goes into resistance. That's resistance.
Okay.
And the horse falls to the shoulder and starts to bounce his croup up with straightening hocks and defensive stiffening of all the joints is, of course, a troubled horse.
Okay.
And that's why, you know, it has to be gradual and correctly taught and correctly ridden at the moment.
So we don't see that often, like you said. We see a bit of butt bouncing sometimes in the competition ring.
Oh, very often, and very often the things that rely entirely on lowering of the haunches, like piaffe and passage, we saw them opposite. We saw horses doing so-called piaffe overflexed in the front. The knees are not rising more than 2 inches. It barely gets off the ground. They remain anchored on the ground. They never free. The forehand cannot be lifted. Why? Because the haunches are bouncing up rather than tucking in, under, and down. It's an in, under, and down with the pelvic structure of the horse. And that, instead of squishing down into the accordion, he escapes by the shooting up like a, you know, a high croup.
Right. Which then brings you to the pirouette, right? Because we had spoken, well, many years ago, I had watched you help JJ with a pirouette at one point. And oftentimes, some teachers teach it that you come from haunches in. And you are very clear that you do not come from haunches in.
No, because that's the way they escape, all lowering of the haunches. If you allow the horse haunches in to preset, to prepare the pirouette, you do the worst thing you can do, because that's his escape. When a horse is not ready or unwilling or doesn't understand that you asked for lowering of the haunches, he will evade you by haunches in. It's the same in the trot too. In a trot, a lot of horses do the, on the left rein especially, they torque the haunches, curve it inward, and the croup is much higher than the withers because they went to crookedness. So they can speed, crookedness, and above the bit are the 3 escapes. And that's what they do. And so it is absolutely, the opposite. The schooling is reinforcing his escape.